Good morning. I'm just joking. Oh, but good morning, good people. I am day 3 on my Daniel plan. The first 2 days were, they were extremely rough. The first day was just, I didn't even know what to do with myself. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to eat? And I went cold turkey on my medications, and that was just not the right choice. It literally felt like I was detoxing from heroin. My heart was racing. I had diarrhea, extreme headache, back pain, numbness and pressure in my left arm. I was jittery, nervous. I couldn't stop moving. I ran into a wall. I ran into a wall. I bust my lip. I can't even show you my lip. I got these gloves on. Look at that. Boom. Bust my lip. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is freaking ridiculous. I just can't do it anymore. Like 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:13 actually. I took all my meds, my morning meds, and within an hour, like, all those symptoms went away. So I will never, ever entirely in my life drug any drug addicts, because, this is coming from a person who, my mother was on heroin for a long time. Was not a part of my life growing up. I was raised by my father and my stepmom, but I don't call her that because obviously she's my mother. She's been raising me since I was 7. And I mean, it's really serious when you are addicted to any type of drug. It literally becomes your God. And for me, felt like I was really putting the pressure on God. I said, listen, God, I know you didn't bring me back here to be continuing down this line. I know you didn't bring me back here to suffer. And I need to just step out on faith. I have to do this. I have to know that you are with me. I mean, as if I have not already been through enough for me to know and understand and truly feeling in my heart that you are with me. For the last 2 years, I have been just in this isolated bubble, just struggling with, why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? To kind of flash back for everybody who doesn't really know. 2 years ago, February 4th, 2018, I died from a heart attack. My heart stopped for 45 minutes and they had to resuscitate me. And not only did they resuscitate me, they didn't use those electrical monitors. Two paramedics literally hand pumped me manually for 45 minutes. And my parents, I asked my mom kind of months before that, I knew something was dramatic was going to happen, but I didn't necessarily know exactly it was going to be that dramatic. I just thought it would be an incident where, I really necessarily couldn't speak for myself. So I came home one day and I told my mom, my stepmother, my mom, I'll call her Mama D for people. I went home to Mama D on a Tuesday and she was filling my medications. And I said, hey, Mom, I really need for you to fill out this paperwork. And she was like, what is it? And I'm like, it's like medical power of attorney paperwork. And just basically saying that, if anything happens to me, that you'll be able to speak for me and you'll make all the decisions. And she got really upset about it. Didn't really understand why I was asking her to do these things. It is cold outside. You guys have to turn the heat up. It's 23 degrees outside. I just dropped my niece off at school. Yes, and I just felt the need to share this video or put it out here for future videos. I'm not necessarily ready to post it yet, but this will be in the files. She got really upset about me even bringing that up and asking her to sign papers. But she did say, I will sign these paperwork, but I will not, I don't want to talk about it. She said, I don't want to talk about it, but I will sign them. I said, okay, thank you. I appreciate it. And then we just left it at that. This was in October. And why I just felt like an urgency to like get these paperwork like signed and submitted to the medical team, because at that time I was a year into having lupus and stage 4 kidney disease, and my doctors were offering me chemo as a treatment. So I had to go through chemo, 6 rounds of chemo, and at that time I think I was on maybe the 3rd session, and it just really wasn't going anywhere. I was seeing results kidney wise a little bit, just a little bit, but I felt like the side effects were way worse than any of the medications that I was taking. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I really could not. But I was pushing through. I kept pushing through, still working 2 jobs, still continuing with my regular life. In fact, I was insane. I would go to my chemotherapy sessions and schedule throughout the day, early morning sessions, and then I would go straight to work afterwards. And I just can't believe that I would push myself that much. So that was very straining on my body and my mind and my spirit, but at the same time, I just couldn't stop everything around me life-wise. I knew I had a goal financially. I knew I had a career that I was very committed to at the time. I was a medical coder, and so it was very and pretty much the only thing that was keeping me focused on, like, this is a life outside of dealing with this chronic illness. So she signed those paperwork, and we just left it at that. Months later, in February, I had a massive heart attack. So that was just like, nobody saw it coming. I didn't see it coming. But let me tell you how God works. I was at my biological mom's house, which is where I live. We own a duplex, and her and her wife live downstairs. And so I have 3 moms. Yes, it's beautiful, beautiful blessing. Sorrows to anybody who's missing their mom or has lost their mom. I am very grateful to have 3, and they all have different personalities, and they're all like literally have a part of me in each and every one of them. So it's very it's a beautiful blessing. Anyways, I live upstairs from that duplex, and I was home and I wasn't feeling well. I came home from work, and I guess from the story, was what other people were telling me, is that I had flu-like symptoms. Everybody tells the same story, like, you were feeling flu-like symptoms, so you were saying that you were just gonna go to sleep early. And which is very crazy for me that I even had said that, because I really never had the flu. Even before lupus, I never really got the flu or a cold or anything of that nature. And the reason for that is because I used to live literally in a cubicle, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. And there was so many people, just like, I live in Wisconsin, so when it's wintertime, it's like illnesses everywhere. People got the cold, people got the flu, people getting pneumonia. I mean, it is insane. Like, you might as well walk around with a mask, because people coughing everywhere, coughing, hacking. And I'm like, like, I remember, God bless her, this lady behind me, it's so crazy, I don't even remember her name. That was a while ago. She would hack all the time. And I'm just like, dang, like, this lady is like really disturbing my vibe. And I didn't want to wear a mask, because that's just crazy to me that people actually go around wearing a mask. But now I can understand why. I'm just like, like, this lady is right behind me. I have my headphones on, turn music up, like, dang, like, this girl, like, go to the doctor. Why do you always have this nagging cough, like, throughout the wintertime? Even in the summertime, she would have this cough. And I'm like, was inclined to tell her, like, maybe you should go to a doctor, But anyways, I would just speak over myself and say, I have a strong immune system. I have a very strong immune system, thinking that will protect me, but not literally subconsciously giving myself lupus. So that if anybody is not aware of lupus, lupus is supposedly when your body is attacking itself. It doesn't recognize, it basically, most of your organs, or some of your organs, specifically my kidneys, and my intestines at one point, were colon too, and I guess if you would say brain and heart, because I've had seizures. I've had one seizure, but I'm on seizure medication to prevent them from happening again. I've had a heart attack. I've had a ileostomy bag for 3 months, and had part of my colon taken out. So all these things have happened to me in the past 3 years. And so I told myself, like, I'm going to have a strong immune system, not literally subconsciously telling myself I'm going to have lupus, but basically trying to protect myself from this cough, from this cold, from pneumonia, for whatever she was experiencing. I just didn't want to catch it. And I'm laughing, but I mean, I'm just making this connection right now on camera. I can't believe you have to really, really, really be careful with your words, because whew, I go back on my posts on Facebooks and, you know, Google photos, and I see like, whoa, I really set myself up for that one. Some things that I posted or saved, like, it really attached, or it was very aware to my, or adapted. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely, I need this in my life. I need this in my life. So saying that over myself, I have a strong immune system, not literally setting myself up for a chronic illness. And that a year and a half later, I had lupus, and it was like aggressive. So anyways, going back to the heart attack, I had a heart attack, and the medical team at Freighter put me, that's like a main hospital, they're everywhere in Wisconsin, put me into a medically induced coma for 6 weeks. And when I came out of that coma, I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to read. I didn't know how to write. I couldn't speak barely. My words were kind of like jumbled. I didn't know my numbers. I didn't know my colors. Had to learn how to walk. Everything all over again. It was just, and to be honest, that was the happiest moments of my life. Just being so brand new to the world. I didn't even see anything really. There was so much concern around everybody around me that loved me, so much concern that I just kind of was like, I'm here, hey, you know, like when I go back and I look at those photos, there's so much light in my eyes, even being in the hospital. And I don't know if I went to heaven or hell, to be honest, because like throughout these last 2 years, I've literally been feeling like I've been in hell. Constantly. I mean, not constantly, but dealing with this chronic illness is like living in hell, but you have to constantly focus on the blessings around you versus this illness. But it's very difficult because you constantly, I have to take medications 3 times a day just to keep my body functioning. And so I tried to step out on faith. No. It was like detoxing from heroin. And as soon as I got that medication, it was like a hit. Like an hour later, and I was like, good. I was smoothing, but still dealing with the side effects of cold turkey and my medication. And that to me was like the biggest thing. Like, I can understand why drug addicts or people that are using drugs are the way that they are, you know. I couldn't understand why my mom wasn't around for so long. And my dad would just tell me, he would tell us the truth, but he would always speak lightly on her, you know, your mom has a drug problem. It's just not, he would always give good words on her. Like, you know, she's very smart. She could do anything that she wanted to do. She'd always make it happen like that. But when she get around some bad people, they would influence her. And, I'm dealing with this like snuffle, just still the side effects of stopping my medications cold turkey. Or it could be this heat, I don't know. Just turn that down a little bit. So I never really understood as a child like why my mother wasn't around. And I see all these other kids, especially I was raised in the suburbs majority of the time, And it was crazy to me that I was being raised around all these kids who had their moms and dads, a suburban community, and I just couldn't understand like why she would leave me like that. So I felt very neglected growing up, even though I had the best dad in the world. Like, he is literally number one dad. That's him, meaning he's been there for me for everything. He was a single father for 7 years, and then he got married to my mama D, and she's been in our lives for 25 plus years now. No, not 25 years, because I'm 30. I was 7, so 21, 22 years. So it's just amazing. I asked her to sign these paperwork for me, and then all that happened. And when I came to, my mind works like work mode constantly. That's like constantly my goal is to work. What can I do? So when they told me that I couldn't do all these things, it was very evident to me, because they would show up a flashcard like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't even, like, they would show me images and I didn't even know what the images were. And I was like, you gonna tell me? Like, you see I'm struggling. And they would tell me like, oh, okay, so you have amnesia, or you don't. I don't even know that they put a label on that. They were just like, you're gonna be stupid for the rest of your life. Like, so immediately, I am grateful for Freighter, though. Even though I've talked so much shit about them, they did really support me during that time. They sent me to speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and all those 3 therapies really helped me to get my life back on track. I didn't know how to read, and that was my biggest struggle. Like, fuck the math, fuck the numbers, all that other shit. Like, I just want to know how to read. I don't know why, but that was just, to me, was, I guess, the access to knowledge, more knowledge. And I remember going to speech therapy, and sitting in front of my therapist, Miss Noreen. I love her. She was very encouraging, and I would literally sit there crying in front of her, because she would show something to me and put a paperwork out and like, okay, read this, and like help me through it. And I didn't know anything for the first few sessions, and she had to remind me every time, like, you went through a traumatic experience. You had your brain, your oxygen was not receiving oxygen for 45 minutes. You know, that is a brain injury. And when she started breaking it down to me, then I really started relaxing on myself, and that allowed me to grow and to develop and say, like, and not like judge myself, because even though I did know and understand that I've been through a traumatic incident, like heart attack, it really wasn't real to me, because I wasn't there during that time. People were saying that I was in a medical induced coma. Like, I wasn't mentally aware. I just went out, and then I came back too, where they were telling me like, okay, you need to learn how to read, write, walk, all that other things again. And that middle time, I don't remember anything. I don't remember even the day before, a few days before. I have to go back and piece together the pictures in my Google Photos about how my life was. And so just based off going back on my photos, I started like, okay, this is the type of person that I am. How can I get back to her? Where is she at? And so I just really immediately went into work mode. I learned how to read quick. Like, within 3 months, I was like, picking up a book. I always loved to color, so I would just color in like every day at home, just by myself and my mom, Mama D. And just basically the basics. My days mostly contained on therapies, trying to get myself back to where I was. And I didn't recognize that it was going to be take me so long to get back to where I was. Even after I was able to read, I'm able to do math still to the same degree of I was able to do math back in school. I've never been good at math. And other things of that nature. So I was pretty much back to where I was, but a few days ago, it's February 11th now, and February 4th, I'm like, okay, it's been 2 years since this incident happened. What am I really doing with myself? What am I really doing with myself? So I had to really soul search, and I'm like, I'm not seeing any results. Last year was like the worst time for my illness ever, even after the heart attack. I had surgery on my stomach. They cut me open, like 6 inches of my colon not my colon, but my intestines was cut out, and I had an ileostomy bag. If anybody doesn't know what that is, that's where you shit in a bag, literally, for a few months because my intestines weren't signaling the right signals. I was constipated all the time. Was it because of the medications? I don't know. Maybe because I wasn't drinking enough water. Maybe a combination of both. I really don't know, but it was necessary for God to bring me through that scenario, and that was probably like my lowest moment. Like, whoa, I have this shit in the bag. Like, what? That was just mind-blowing to me, and just very like a major setback as to where I've already been dealing with. Prior to that, I was dealing with colitis for like a long time, like months. It started in January, and by May is when I had my surgery, and then they reversed it in July 31st. So like a little under 3 months. So there's been so many things that I've been dealing with internally with this chronic illness, and also mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Like, it attracts everything that you have in you. Like, you just really kind of lose your mind at times. And I was really at that point, my 2-year anniversary, I'm like, I just can't deal with this anymore. Like, I don't understand why God would ever bring me back to go through the same suffering that I was trying to escape from. And mind you, I can't mind you because I never told you this, but I'm minding myself. When I had my mom sign those paperworks, I told her, I said, listen, I need you to understand this. And this is why she didn't want to talk about it anymore. I said, I need for you to understand that if something traumatic happens to me, I do not want to be resuscitated. Do not resuscitate me. Do not, like, let me go. Let me go. Like, because at that point I was going through chemo, and I felt like that was the most that I could take. Like, the side effects of that and taking my medications was just way too much on anybody's soul. And I'm just like, I don't want to live my life like this. I'm tired all the time. Like, I'm throwing up. I'm like barely making it through the day. My spirit is broken. And, I just see everybody else around me just going on with their life. And then for some reason in the winter months, even before having lupus, I just always have a hard time dealing with the winter. I'm like, I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here, trying to make enough money just to relocate, but not knowing that I could have just applied for jobs any other way and started all over. But, you get attached to your family, you get attached to your city and the people around you. So it's like you go with the flow until the flow is stopped. And God is like, you have to switch it up, or I'm going to switch it up for you. So that's what he did. And he took me out the game, and he had to talk to me face to face and say, listen, girl, you got to get it together. I didn't bring you back. I don't know exactly what went on those 45 minutes that I was completely out. I don't remember any of that. A lot of people come back from death experiences or death itself, and they have these testimonial stories to share with the world. They write books on it, all those things. They get a lot of fame and attention. But a lot of people ask me, what do you remember? What did you see? I said, nothing. It was darkness for me. I remember towards the end having very vivid dreams, but to me, those things I remember dreaming those, but then subconsciously it's just crazy to me that I'll share that for another video. But some things that I saw during that stage end up actually happening after I got my life a little bit back on track and was able to kind of like travel again. And when I met my boyfriend in California, it was like the house that he took me to, a friend of his where he was staying before we went to the boat, was like, as soon as I walked in his apartment, their tears started flowing from my eyes, because I was just like, whoa. It was like a deja vu thing, like I've been here before. And he was like, no, Bubba, like, what? And then he was like, really? Like, he saw the tears in my eyes, and he was like, oh, you're having like a deja vu thing. And I'm like, is that what it's called? You know, so brand new to everything. And but not brand new enough to travel the world, baby. So I was very aware of like those vivid dreams that I was having in the last stage, and those things I'm like, whoa, like this really happens to people. It's kind of amazing. Anyways, so I was at that point where I'm just like, I can't deal with this anymore. Lord, please show me a way out, because I know this body is your temple, and you didn't bring anybody here to suffer. So what am I doing wrong? I've been doing research for the past 2 years about this illness, and how people are saying that it's your diet, it's your diet, it's your diet. Like, you have to go to an alkaline diet, lifestyle, stay away from meat and dairy. I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me. There has to be another way out. Like, I was willing to give up my life again just to hold on to meat and dairy, because again, I live in Wisconsin, one of the coldest states in the world other than Alaska. But during the winter time, it feels like Alaska. Snow everywhere. And I mean, it snowed yesterday, and I'm just like, whoa, it's snow everywhere right now that I'm around me. It's 23 degrees outside. And so I didn't want to give it up. I would rather stay on these medications where I was comfortable and eat the diet that I wanted to eat, and then satisfy myself, my insides, my belly. It gave me comfort, you know, especially during these winter months. It's cold. You just want to have a hot meal with some cheese on it, loaded baked potato, you know, like, good, yummy. Except for no pork. Chicken, steak is always my favorite. Eggs, things of that nature. Throw some cheese on everything. We are Wisconsin, like, we're literally the dairy state. It's cheese on everything. Puts cheese on everything. Like, it ain't got cheese on it, like, it ain't good. cheese, and more cheese is with me and what my Bubba always says. But I had to get out of that mindset, and it took me a year and a half for me to get into that mindset. Like, last September is really when I had my last, I had a steak burrito, and it was so good, but I paid for that steak burrito, because once your mind starts switching up and telling you, like, you get it in your mind, your vision, like, okay, I'm going to do it this way. This is no longer acceptable. Anytime that I would have meat or anything in that nature, like, my body was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, do we have to show you? You got to suffer through this in order for you to step away from it? That's what I had to do. I will go through a flare-up. I had the worst flare-up having that steak burrito. It was so good, though, but the consequences were not worth it. And that's when I made my decision. Way to go out, though. You know, I went out with a bang, like I always do. When I had my heart attack a few days earlier, I just came home from Mexico with my best friend. So I guess I like to live on the edge. But so, your way to go out on the bag. I had a really good steak burrito from a taco truck on the south side. On the south side is like where all the Hispanics live, so you know the food's gonna be bomb. So that really suffered me for a long time after that, and I was like, okay, no more. I have to do this. But I wasn't done with the dairy yet. I still ate cheese, not milk, but just specifically cheese, like any type of cheese. I just gravitated to it. Just even recently, 3 months ago, it's like, okay, no more cheese. And then still a month ago, no more cheese. I don't know what it is, but they must put like crack ingredients in it because it's just so addicting to just give up. But you have to want your health more than you want the cravings or the taste. And I'm just now getting into that phase of just like, no, this is not worth it. This is not, I'm saying just now get into it. And you looking at me like, girl, you went through all of that. You had your stomach cut open, knowing all this information that an alkaline diet was better for you, that you could get off these medications years ago, even before this all even got to the point of having chronic illnesses. Or yes, I am stubborn. I'm an Aries. I always want to do it my way. And yeah, so recently, like a month ago, is when I'm like, okay, no more cheese. And still sometimes I dabble in it. But so for me to even think that I could just cold turkey these medications, but hey, I was stepping out on faith, okay? I really wanted to step out on faith. I said, listen, I know you got me. You've brought me through so much. I know absolutely that you could bring me through this. You could be my rock and my shadow. No. Detoxing from heroin is what I felt. And I gave up at 4:13 in the morning. I took my meds and I felt better immediately. Like an hour later, I was okay, but still dealing with the side effects of just stopping cold turkey. And now here it is 3 days later. Yesterday, I didn't make the best choices. I started off with I had vegan chili in the morning because Daniel made some vegan chili for dinner the other day. And I had that because I was just so empty. And then I had some ramen noodles yesterday for dinner because I was just running out of options. I haven't gone grocery shopping at this point. We're like out of food, salads, fruits, the things that I like are my staples right now. Getting through this, like I like to put lettuce or spring mix with sorry guys, excuse me, strawberries, blueberries, any type of oranges, things of that nature to really, and if you don't want to like create your own dressings, or I do like lemon juice with olive oil, a little bit of seasoning, that's always really good. But lately I have not been having any type of energy to go grocery shopping, and so we have vegan chili and I had that. And it's like a gradual step into this lifestyle because literally it's freezing outside. Look at the snow everywhere. I was trying to flip the camera around and I'm like, I'm actually videoing this instead of doing Snapchat, which is my favorite. So yeah, this is what I'm living with. And and I live in a black household, you know, African-American community. We all about soul food. The seasonings are everything. So it's just a struggle, you guys. It's a struggle when I am a food addict. I have to admit it to myself. And when you're addicted to food more than you are gravitated to your health, that's where you know that there's a problem. There's a problem. And I think it's an epidemic in our country. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, like it is, people can be food addicts and it creates a lot of illnesses in our body. And that's my rant. But day 3, yesterday was rough. I woke up feeling a little hazy, side effects still, but today I woke up. First of all, I got some really good sleep yesterday because, let me tell you why though. I watched this video on Steve Harvey after I took my morning meds. I'm like, I can't just take these side effects anymore. I have to do something. And he talked about how God steps in when you literally did all you can and you just felt like you can't do anymore. Like, you got to take the wheel or I'm just gonna lose my mind at this point. Like, I don't know the way out. And even though like all this research is around me, when you are trying to heal from chronic kidney disease, it's like a cash cow for people. So when you research that, like, there's literally nothing that pops up that like heal you. There's like supplements and things of that nature, but you have to be wary of those things. Other than Dr. Sabi, I wouldn't trust it, because there's really nobody putting that information out on how to heal their kidney disease. And if they do put that information out, they've either been on dialysis and went back to like not being on dialysis, and then they end up being on dialysis, and then they get a transplant. Like, it's like no way out. And I'm like, I am trapped. I feel like I'm suffocating. Please, Lord, like I just can't imagine a life being on dialysis. Like, I've just recently lost my aunt from being on dialysis. Her port was bleeding and she basically had a heart attack from that, and she had diabetes for years. So, and then my parents own a medical transport company where they take people to and from their doctor's appointments and their dialysis appointments. And one day I thought it was a great idea to go with my mom to pick up some patients and take them to dialysis. And when I walked into that dialysis place, I was shocked. Like, immediately when you walk into the building, it smells like chemicals. Like, it smells like death. It smells like death. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, is this a meth lab or is this a dialysis? And my mom was like joking because she thought I was making a joke, but I was not making a joke. I'm like, are you serious? Like, and how long are these people here for? And she's like, 4 hours. And I'm like, how long do they come here a week? And she's like, some people 3 times a week, some people 4 times a week. I do remember my aunt saying that she was on there 4 times a week, 4 hours a day. I'm like, damn, that's like a job. No wonder why they approve people for disability immediately if you're on dialysis, because your job is literally to be at the dialysis place and to die after that. So I just was, my mind was blown at that point. Like, what? And yet still, I was still eating the way that I wanted to eat. Like, I was just like, I just know I don't want to be here, but still meat, dairy, like everything. So I don't know what is this about that food addicts, but I have to be another type of food addict, like the healthy, vibrant, where food gives you life versus death. It's like a death sentence. But that was very eye-opening to me, because I'm like, whoa, it smells like chemicals. It seems like a meth lab. Like, I just couldn't understand like how people could live that way. And then I was just like, okay, you know, God got me. I haven't been to my rheumatologist in a year, and I went back just so I can get some paperwork signed for disability. And just side note, they denied me twice. What? Twice. Dabble on that a little bit. Twice. All that I've been through, twice. I have to get a lawyer. My court date is February 25th. And still, my lawyer told me that my main job on that court date is to be believable. Believable? Believable. Because some people don't know how drastic or dramatic or aggressive that lupus is. It's just like, you get some joint pains. Like, okay, why can't you work 8 hours a day? Like, last year alone, I was in the hospital like 10 times. And those days add up. Like, I wouldn't be there for just 2 days, 3 days. Like, sometimes a week, sometimes 4 days, 5 days. Sometimes more than 7 days. Like, I have to be believable. how am I supposed to be believable? And this is my life. Like, it shouldn't even be a question and an option. It should be like automatically approved. Like, I don't even know why they denied me twice. And then he basically said, because I know you're an independent woman. Why? Because I'm black? Is that what people label black women? Like, independent? We can stand on our own? That's very complimentary, but still at the end of the day, like, I'm dealing with this chronic illness that literally takes up my entire day. The time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, I'm dealing with this. And not on so many levels. Like, it's not even just physically, it's emotionally, it's spiritually, it's taxing, you know. Even though I've been through all of those things and I know God is with me, I'm still dealing with the devil in the background. So, which is lupus. And I just really couldn't believe that I, you know, a few weeks before my court date, my lawyer is telling me, like, my job is to be believable. Wow. I just baffled. And so at this point, I'm like, fuck it. Like, I have to. I've been trying to put off these YouTube. I have a story to tell, and I don't know how much more information I have to receive or go through. That guy is like, if you don't pick up that camera and talk about me, focus your mind on me, you ain't gonna never get nowhere. You better get it together and put God first instead of putting this illness first. You gonna recognize today. And so that's what I'm doing, because to be honest, I don't know, like, I have to be honest with myself. Oh, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. When I went to my rheumatologist, and I went there to get some paperwork filled out for disability, and my rheumatologist, we really don't vibe at all. Like, he's just very cold turkey, very dry, cut and dry. When I went there and I met him, they basically teamed up on me. There was like 3-4 of them at a time, and they were like, you're gonna be on these medications for the rest of your life. It's an aggressive illness, and blah 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 blah, and like going on and on and on and on and on. And for a while, I was in so much pain at that time. That was like a first sign of dealing with lupus, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I could smoke some herbs and deal with this pain, but no. The reason why I went there is because even with the herbs was not helping me at all. Like, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even get myself to the bathroom. That's how traumatic the pain was. I couldn't even get out of bed. And one day it would be this side of my arm, the next side would be that side, the next day would be the leg. I'd be everywhere, just like jumping all around. So I didn't really understand why that was happening to me, but I knew I had to get some relief, because even like Tylenol was not helping me. They had to put me on steroids, and that immediately, like, I took that steroid and it was like a magical pill. I'm like, whoa. I was up dancing around, like moving, like, I'm like, and then I had an appetite like crazy. I'm like, oh, I'm about to get my thickness back, because mind you, at that time I was losing so much weight from this illness already. And so then I started gaining weight again. I started getting my energy back, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, I can do this. But the thing about prednisone, it's like crack. Like, the taste of it is just like disgusting. Like, like, I would have to take it with honey or applesauce. Like, it was just that disgusting. You could not take it alone. It's just like, like, it's a lingering taste that leaves in your mouth. It has to be crack. It has to be crack. I can't understand why anybody would ever do crack. But for the side effects that I had from prednisone, I can understand why people would do crack. But the taste of it, how they can snort it and all that other stuff, like, but I was addicted, because the way it made me feel, I was like, oh yeah, this is the magical pill. And that was like the first medication that they would introduce me to. And I would take that, and then like things started getting gradually worse on the inside, not like necessarily physically, but other things started going wrong. I had to get a biopsy for my kidneys, and then they found out I had stage 4 kidney disease and blah, blah, blah. And then once they start attaching those labels, you know, your mind starts wondering and start putting pieces together, like, oh my gosh, how long have I had this? I've always had UTIs since I was a kid, you know, antibiotics and things of that nature. And then you do all this research online, you start putting the pieces together, like, you know, antibiotics tears down your intestines and ruins your gut flora and all that other stuff. And I just couldn't understand why I could be in this place. But understanding, like, okay, since I was 7, I've been on antibiotics like every other month for UTIs, and now to this day, like, I have kidney disease and things of that nature. So I was very flabbergasted by where's my phone at? Hold on, guys. Phone's ringing. Hey, Bubba.
Where you at?
I'm outside making a video.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be up in shortly.
No, take your time. I just was concerned. I saw the car's here, but you're gone. Yelling for you.
Oh, Baba.
Okay. Have fun.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay. I've been in the car for 50 minutes almost recording this video, so I hope you guys lasted in. That's my honey. He's upstairs. You know me like, what? You just took Angel to the school. Where you at, girl? You running the streets? So yes, I really don't remember when I left off. Oh, antibiotics. And you know, that really affected me for years and years and years, like building up to this chronic illness, or maybe subconsciously me telling myself I have a strong immune system, a combination of both. So I wanted to step out on faith, and that's what I did. And it was the most traumatic thing that I've ever did in my life, because that's the moment when you truly realize, like, your life is not in your control. Right. It took that moment for me to recognize that life is not in my control. After all I've been through, that was the moment, like, whoa, this is my God right now. This illness is my God right now, and not God. These drugs, I am worshiping them because my body literally depends on them. I can even, like, my heart can't pump by itself if I don't take these medications. Like, they will pump, but it, like, my heart was race. It was like going on. Like, I could feel it jumping out of my chest. The numbness in my arm, the tingling, the pressure, the headache, the back pain. I'm like, oh my God. It would not end. But I really was trying to hold out. Anyways, Steve Harvey says you get to the point where you're like, God, I just really can't take no more. But you, like, push it to the limits, to as far as you can. And I truly believe at that moment, God know, like, okay, this girl really is doing her best. And she just, even though, yeah, she still is kind of dibbling and dabbing with the diet. Though I don't eat meat, and I'm not having any type of dairy still. Like, I had those ramen noodles yesterday, and that's not good for you. It has 750 milligrams of sodium. That's definitely not good for your kidneys. And I had put hot sauce on the top of it. Right. I don't do that. I mean, I haven't had ramen noodles in like a year and a half or something of that nature, but I don't know. It's like, you know, you always want to step out on the edge before you go big. So, so today though, or last night, I was doing a lot of research, and things started magically popping up, like leading up, like, oh my gosh, finally, Lord. Yes, I found out you could take, I'm like, you know, I've been searching for this cure for UTIs for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, because I still get chronic UTIs, and people were saying D-Manos. I tried that, didn't work. It says to help prevent. You take it 3 tablets a day, and I'm like, didn't work for me. And I'm like, okay. And then there's a tea that you, I'll link it below this video, that helps treat UTIs. It's like a tea. It's a herbal tea that the Native Americans used to use. I was trying to use the right term, because I do live in Wisconsin and to be political on that. Native Americans use for healing different ailments. And so the lady was telling me, like, yeah, you gotta just take this and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, cranberry juice, that works. Like, if you ever have a UTI, like, raw, fresh, 100% cranberry juice is the way to go. Like, drink the whole container, like, not a whole container, like the big, large portion, like a liter, but something a little bit smaller than that. It'll give you the runs, but it'll clear that pathway out. It really helps a lot, and it's very tart, so don't expect like regular ocean spray cranberry juice. Put some other juice in there if you want to. That's how I usually take it up, but now to this point I take it so much that I just straight up. So yes, that's what I was dealing with. And recently doing some research yesterday, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is, dandelion, a tonic. Take that, drink it as a tea. You can take it as a it comes in a vial. You could do the milliliter little drops and things of that nature. And then there's nettle, stinging nettle, and I'm like, whoa, like that. Both of those things help with the kidneys and chronic UTIs, any type of urinary disorders. I'm like, whoa. Where's I've been searching, and I'm telling you, I didn't watch Dr. CB's things often, so how can I miss this? It just naturally started popping up, like psh, 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 psh. I'm like, what? Like, that just re-energized me. I'm like, thank you, Lord, thank you for stepping in. I need this life, I need this light. Like, show me, guide me. And I pray every day, like, Lord, guide my footsteps. But I truly believe, like, everything in its timing. And he was like, you're ready, you're ready to step out on faith. Like, you're showing me. And like recently, I always love picking up the camera. I've always been a vlogger, day and out. Like, I have a huge following on Snapchat, and not really on social media, because I like the personal community. I love Snapchat because I know these people individually. I've met them throughout my life, and they can follow my journey. And, they're very encouraging. And so I like that setting. Facebook, Instagram, and things of that nature. Like, Facebook is people that you've obviously connected with throughout your life, period. But Instagram is like some people that you've met, but it's like people that you ain't never connected with. You don't know who they are personally versus who they playing on Instagram. So I don't have a Twitter account. I have a Twitter account, but I maybe posted like 2 posts, maybe. So like Facebook, Instagram are kind of like sometimey for me. Like, if you go to my Instagram, you maybe see like 8 photos. But Facebook is like my go-to thing. I've had that since I was a teenager. And Snapchat is like, whoo, I'm the Snapchat queen, baby. I love me some Snapchat. That is my thing. I save my videos save the story for the day. Like, yes, motivation. Download it to Google Photos, go back. That's how I really put my life back together. When I had memory problems, I'm like, who am I? I had to go back through all these little snaps that I made. Thank God for Snapchat, because like, I have some really beautiful memories that I really want to hold on to, because I've been chasing that lady for years now. 2 years now I've been chasing her. Like, where is she at? Here she is, baby. Here she is. Like, I woke up this morning, I had a burst of energy. I was grateful for everything. I'm like, yes, Lord. Like, literally, I had the best sleep that I haven't had in months. Like, these eyes underneath my eyes, like that has to do with kidney disease. But it also has to do with insomnia. I've been dealing with insomnia like crazy, which is another symptom of kidney disease. Like, you really don't get the best rest. So I'm like, whoa. I took some dandelion tonic yesterday. I have to get some nettle, stinging nettle. But that dandelion, like I had a horrible headache. I'm like, oh my gosh, this headache is, as soon as I took that dandelion tonic, I was like, whoa. Like not even 5 minutes later, that headache was gone, baby. Like gone. And I'm like, is this from the dandelion root? I'm doing all this research prior to me taking this stuff. And I'm like, I think this cured my headache. I watched another video and it's like, it helps with headaches. I'm like, whoa, like you ask for an answer, like the universe just sends it, boop. And I'm like, whoa, not always right on time, but right on time in God's timing, you know what I mean? So I'm like, whoa, like that's amazing. Like, so if I focus my energy on that gratitude and being delightful all the time, like I just woke up so excited this morning because I didn't set my alarm. I usually set my alarm for like 7:10 so I could get up and get out of the house by 7:30 to take my niece to school, or my niece and nephew to school. By my nephew has to be there at 7:30, my niece has to be there at 7:45. So I'm like, dang, you know, I didn't set my alarm. I woke up, something just told me like I was gonna go back to sleep. I was like, oh, it looks like a little light outside. I picked up the camera, my phone. 7:28. I'm like, okay, right on time. So I just got up immediately, started putting my clothes on, brushed my teeth, walked outside. Like it's 23 degrees. I'm like, ooh, it's a beautiful day. Like it's a beautiful day. It's 23 degrees outside, but it's a beautiful day to me. And then I took my niece to school. They had that old Kanye West song. I forget the name. I forgot it that quickly. See, those are things I'm kind of still lagging on. Like I had something in my mind, and it's just like brain fog. It was when Kanye was real. He was like something about the weave and the Jordans, and if you in the Benz, you still even if you in the Benz, you still a nigga in the coupe. Yes, that song. I remember the actual name of the song, but I was like, ooh, that's my jam. I turned it up. I said, this is what Kanye West was the truth. I guess he's, making gospel music now, so I guess he is still the truth, but he went to that weird stage a little bit. But as we all do, can't really judge anybody's journey. So yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like I pulled up to my niece's school. I've been taking this different route. And then today I took the same route I did yesterday. And when I pulled around the corner, like there was a front, right up front, like her school is always packed. And they put it on this main street, which is like Center Street in Milwaukee. And it's just crazy because like that connects all the cities everywhere in this. I don't know if it goes all the way to Wisconsin, but in Milwaukee, Brookfield, to the lakeside, like all these major cities in Milwaukee area location, it connects it. So I'm like, why would they put a school on the main street? There's no parking spot where you could just drop your kids off or park your car. Like you just have to drop them off. I'm like, and then they don't have school buses. I'm like, what? So I get very frustrated about that. But when I pull up today, I'm like, whoa, right front, right smack. Like there was plenty of cars, and there was just like a right smack dap front, right in front of the door. I'm like, ooh, look at God. Look at God. So I'm getting so geeked, and enjoying this energy that newfound energy that I just woke up with. And I'm like, wow, where did this come from? Like, you pray for things so long, and then boom, it's like a transition. And I am so awake right now. I'm like, I'm grateful. I'm happy. And usually Tuesdays are the worst for me because I get my Procreate injection, which is to help my kidneys produce red blood cells. And I always dread Tuesdays because I'll always wake up crabby. And I'm just like, oh, this again. It's like a constant reminder, as if I don't take the medications daily. It's a constant reminder that I am dependent on this Western medical. And I go to these injections. They take up like 2 hours of my day. I get my blood drawn, and then I get this injection just to see where my levels are at. And sometimes I have been getting these injections for a year now, and sometimes my levels are good and they'll jump drastically, but lately my levels have been like going backwards, and I'm like, I get so discouraged with that. I'm like, oh man, why is this happening to me? So today is Tuesday and I'm here, baby. I'm so excited. Like, I just can't explain the energy that I have bubbling up inside of me. It's just amazing. I just want to go upstairs. Oh, it must be on my camera. I want to go upstairs and continue to work on my vision board. And it's crazy. I've been working on this vision board for about a week now. It's taken me that long, yes. Even though I usually stay at home all day long, I just be so distracted by other things. But I've been working on this vision board, and the little things that I've been putting in my vision board is like I see coming up. It's like manifesting itself into my life, and it really makes me excited. But you don't really get to the point until you are like, oh, when is it gonna kick in mentally? You know what I mean? Like, and mentally, I feel like it kicked in. Yes, will there still be some bad days? Yes, obviously, I have to accept that, but it's not gonna be. Oh, that was a snowball. I thought somebody was knocking on the window. Did y'all hear that? It's time for me to go. Anyways, I'm gonna keep you guys up on this journey, and thank you so much for listening to my story. I can promise you that I will put out more videos. I'm going to keep you guys updated. Not even updated. I'm going to keep you along with me on this journey as I start putting the pieces of my life back together, because I am just so grateful. I've always been grateful for life, but dealing with this chronic illness, you can get sidetracked by the reality versus trying to create a different reality for yourself. And it's finally kicking in for me to gratitude is the first thing, and praising God for everything that you have, whether it be good or bad. And I know I'm here for a reason, and I truly believe it's to first cure myself of this illness, and then also to help others along their journey to heal themselves from whatever ailments that they may be experiencing. I think we need more African Americans to step up and claim it and say, like, no, this is the way to true living. We had Dr. CB, and that was pretty much it, and they killed him. So I'm hoping that I don't end up the same way. But like, he died from pneumonia. In a prison cell in Honduras. So, okay, to set him up is my true feeling. I think there's a conspiracy to everything. I think there's a conspiracy in this health world. They play us with these illnesses, and it's just not possible. It's just not possible. I just can't believe that God would ever bring people here to suffer. I truly do believe that it's all about your mindset, your thoughts, and your patterns, your habits. And you just have to be acceptable to the fact that you are the evil in your ear. You are the evil in your eyesight. You are the evil in your mindset. You are your worst enemy. And it really clicked for me. You hear that saying all the time, but it truly has to click for yourself that, like, I'm the problem. It's me. It's me. I am the invader. And that's why my body is treating me like an invader. So you keep putting all these wrong things in your system, knowing that it's not bringing me life. You're causing death, and that manifested in my life dramatically. But thank God I was able to come back and reiterate or correct my actions. And yes, it took me 2 years, 2 years and a few days for me to be like, no more. So thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I am blessed for all the people that are willing to go on this journey with me. If you're dealing with any chronic illnesses or any ailments in general, please comment below. we could go on this journey together. It takes a community. I'm reading the Daniel Plan, and it's an excellent book. I've read it before, and I got to the middle portion like years ago before I had lupus, and now it's like, okay, it brought itself back into my life, and I'm like, wow, I definitely need this book because it's all about faith, friends, and like a community, like getting your life back on track health wise and spiritually. First, it's spiritually. And I felt like I've been so disconnected from God just going through this experience, knowing that he's with me, you know, with all the things that I've been through, but still so frustrated with him. Like, why did you get me to this point? And he like, it ain't me, baby girl. It is not me. It's all about you. So once I accepted that, it's like, psh, rocket science just got to me that quickly. And so I am very grateful for this moment. I will continue to be grateful for this moment. I'm going to play this video anytime that I feel down. Like, you got a mission, girl. You got a job to do. You better get it together. Pull it together, hunty. So that's what I'm gonna do. And anybody who's willing to go through this journey with me, please stay along for the journey. I love ya.